One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. Zach, for anybody who doesn't yet know what Teamworks is all about, and obviously news came out yesterday that you guys closed a Series A round of financing, but for anybody who doesn't understand or hasn't read enough about Teamworks and the impact you guys have already had in college athletics, give us a quick overview.
We started a little bit over 10 years ago in a dorm room at Duke University. I was playing football at Duke, and I personally felt the effects of kind of breakdowns in communication. For me, those breakdowns in communication more frequently than I would have liked resulted in me running stadium stairs at 5 a.m. And so, while I enjoyed being in great cardiovascular shape, I wanted to try and build something that would help us to work together. So I started examining my team and our larger athletic department and kind of the way that we communicate and share information. And what really emerged when I mapped out all the information sharing was a picture of a department that looked like a series of silos. So there was a silo for every team, silo for every sub-department. So there's a silo for compliance, sports medicine, strength and conditioning, business ops. And the flow of information within those silos was typically very, very efficient. And primarily that's for three reasons. Number one, taking the training room as an example, everyone is geographically in the same place. All the trainers are in the training room. Number two, the people within those silos tend to be homogenous. They have shared backgrounds, shared education. The trainers are all certified athletic trainers. They all speak the same language, call things by the same names. And number three, there already existed systems that targeted those specific silos. So in the training room, there's EMR systems. In compliance, there's recruiting and compliance platforms. There's sports performance platforms. Where all the breakdowns and kind of misses in terms of execution were occurring were in flows of information between those silos. And no one of those silos can operate in a vacuum. So taking, again, the training room as an example, they need input, multiple times a day from the athletes, from coaches, from the business office, from equipment when they're ordering new equipment. So that was really the problem that was leading to all these misses, lack of execution that was leading to me running those stadium stairs. And so then I started wondering, why hasn't that problem been solved? It's not a new problem. The solution is out there in the marketplace. It's a collaboration platform. And the reason that traditional collaboration platforms have failed to address the needs of athletic organizations is that they're designed for a professional sedentary workforce, people that are sitting in front of a computer terminal all day long. Which in the world of athletics, that couldn't be further from reality, right? The vast majority of the actors within an athletic organization are up moving around all day long. And in many cases, teams, coaches, players are not just spread out around campus, but around the country. So we set about building a collaboration platform that was designed for a large mobile workforce and specifically plugged into that formula domain expertise in athletics. And what we've been able to do is take these athletic organizations that are spending millions of dollars to hire the right coaches, recruit the right athletes, build the right facilities, and truthfully develop the right plans for success and help them to execute more effectively. I think there's no coach on game day that isn't more frustrated than calling the perfect play and one player goes the wrong direction. Well, the same thing happens off the field all week long. And so what we're about and what we're delivering to our organizations, to our clients, is a more modern way of communicating and sharing information that leverages those smartphones that every single person is glued to 24/7.
And the reason I noted that most people likely know your all story is you're already working with nearly 400 Division I programs, 80% of Power 5 football programs. So you've got great traction in the industry. One of the interesting questions when anybody raises a round of capital is similar to building a team, of course, and why this group of investors, why Seaport, also Atlanta Ventures is in the deal, Inner Circle Ventures. What do these players bring to the table that will help you guys in your next steps?
So, obviously, starting with Seaport, the lead investor, Bill Luby is somebody that I had actually had engaged with several years ago, just seeking advice. We've been in touch with with him for several years, and not only do we have a great respect for the firm and the success of other groups that they've invested in and what they've brought to those investments, but we'd also developed a really close relationship with Bill where we felt very, very comfortable about kind of, getting him involved and making sure that, the way that we had grown our business, our customer-centric focus, that he was on board with that and how we were going to continue to lead the business forward. Obviously, Seaport has made several investments, both in the world of athletics and technology, which is right, in terms of intersecting verticals, that's right where Teamworks lives. So they've got a lot of great domain expertise. Pags Group, Judy Pagliuca, Steve Pagliuca, no question, they've got a lot of experience in the world of professional sports, but also both individuals are incredibly smart, well-experienced folks that have a history of success in the world of business, not just in athletics. Judy has led several tech investments and brings from those experiences a wealth of really wisdom and knowledge to bear to us. And then, David Cummings with Atlanta Ventures, I think you can spend 3 seconds Googling, and guy that bootstrapped a company, never raised outside capital and sold it to Salesforce for $100 million. Now runs, probably one of the more aggressive and successful venture capital groups in the Southeast. Thrilled to have him involved. Dumac, again, bringing another unique perspective. Obviously they've got a wealth of connections in pretty much every vertical, every industry. Some really, really smart folks from a financial perspective are part of that organization. But when we put together this syndicate, when we looked at the folks that we wanted to get involved, we were really looking for, a tapestry of investors that were going to bring knowledge and experience that would complement what we already had.
What is the number? What will the capital help you do from a growth standpoint?
So, first things first, we raised $6.25 million. Let me talk a little bit about the impetus for raising the capital, because we have bootstrapped the company, never raised outside capital prior to this. It is a fully functioning business. We finished last year with 20 employees, had grown to almost 30 prior to the investment round. The reason that we raised this capital is that we got to a point as a business where, we're selling the best burgers in town, and as fast as we can sell them, people are buying them, and we take a look outside the window and there's about 600 groups waiting in line. Now, we've been very, very disciplined from the start of this business about only adding as many customers as we can support and properly deliver on the value that was promised. So from our perspective, we see a lot of demand and we want to be in a position to respond to it. So the first thing that we're investing in, obviously, is our sales and marketing team and our account services team. But truthfully, we're going to be investing equally in all parts of the business. We're going to get those pieces in place here in the next 30 days, but we're also making a significant investment in the technology that we offer our clients. Again, that's a big part of how we create value, is continuing to push the envelope, continuing to take advantage of new computing paradigms and leverage that to further increase the efficiency of our clients' operation.
Zach, what internal goals are you comfortable in sharing on how quickly you'd like to scale from a department-wide standpoint in college athletics?
So, again, just based on the demand and the folks, in the last 30 days, we've had 3, Power 5 institutions jump on board with us: Florida, Florida State, Iowa State. We see that continuing to accelerate. We want to, again, be in a position to meet that demand, but we think there's no reason that come this time next year that we can't be approaching 60, 70, 80% of Power 5 institutions. But truthfully, while a lot of folks pay attention to Power 5, I think the group that we're really helping, a lot of the folks that are Division II, Division III, NAIA, JUCO, the person that's coming to work as an athletic director who's also the head of facilities, who's also the head coach for 3 teams, they're wearing a lot of hats. And by deploying Teamworks, we're able to take a lot of those hats away and let them focus on higher level problems. So, while we have goals and we think we can accomplish the same thing in Power 5 that we've done with football, and truthfully, we're already trending towards that, we also have a goal of bringing our solution to everyone that can help. And that's not just at the Division I level, that's at all levels.
So college athletics these days, there's a number of stories, of course, and you guys now are added to the mix of venture capital money or private equity money. Certainly the listeners of this series and the readers of D1 Ticker on a daily basis are very focused on college athletics primarily, but also in today's age, college athletics is part of the larger entertainment ecosystem. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious. I'm curious of the global impact you feel like Teamworks can have down the line.
So already we're beginning to develop relationships internationally. I think you'll start seeing press releases to that effect in the next quarter or two. But there's no question that what we're doing here in the United States, the same problems are happening for athletic organizations overseas. But we've also especially through some of the professional athletic organizations that we work with, where some of the staff that we're dealing with have served in similar roles, say for bands that would travel the world and put on concerts. What we're hearing from them is, whether we're moving 180 people to put on a concert or to put on a sporting event, it's the same logistical problems, same communication issues. We've got talent, we've got people that are supporting that talent, and we need to make sure everybody's moving in the right direction, because wasted effort is wasted resources. And I think that's the big thing today, right now, in every industry, but particularly in college athletics. I will go out on the limb, and I don't have to go very far to say that for every athletic organization that's out there, especially at the Division I level, their largest line item is HR, what they're spending on their coaches and their staff. And the tendency of athletic departments is to solve problems by throwing people at them. And that's a very inefficient way to solve them. And I think more and more departments led by leaders in the industry like Southern Cal, Texas, Texas A&M, Duke, Florida, Florida State, are saying, how can we take the people that we have and make them more productive? And that's something that is not new to other industries. Folks in the entertainment industry, truthfully, we've got clients in the transportation industry. They're all about how do we take the great employees that we have and make them more productive. And that's what we're trying to deliver for them every day.
You've been in a number of athletic director offices, senior leadership offices, explaining this platform and this product. What have you and your team found to be the moment when you're explaining the service that the light bulb really goes on over someone's head?
Well, part of what we do when we come into an athletic department and we present our solution, it's not just us throwing our product out there. We actually do a lot of discovery. We survey, we document their existing processes. And a lot of times when we sit down with that athletic director, their senior executive staff, what we're showing them is that 30-40% of the day of their staff, their athletes, is being wasted on administrative tasks and making up for missed execution. So if you take 5 athletic trainers that are spending 40% of their day on tasks that you did not hire them to do, and we're able to eliminate 50% of that, there's one more full athletic trainer that's treating injuries and getting your athletes to return to play faster. If we do the same thing for your folks in academic services, there's another athlete that maybe is eligible that wouldn't have been otherwise, because we've got more hours to spend working with the student athlete and less time spent on administration. And unfortunately, as the administrative burden grows, instead of attacking the problem, I think a lot of departments have tried to just add more staff. We're going to add somebody to schedule this. We're going to add somebody to manage that. But again, those are expensive, inconsistent solutions. And by implementing our platform, they're able to extract anywhere from 20 to 30% increased productivity across their department. While they may not turn around and say, well, great, we're going to cut 20% of our workforce. That's not what they're doing. But what they're saying is next year we don't have to hire another 10 or 20 people, and the extra $10 million that we're going to save is going to stick to our bones and get invested in things that actually matter, like facilities and services for our student athletes.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.